Simple prayer for transformative strength in 2025. It sounds like you're really reflecting on how powerful and transformative prayer can be, especially in times of uncertainty or struggle. The idea that we all have moments where we feel lost, weak, or overwhelmed is so real. I think everyone, at some point, experiences those moments where our own strength feels insufficient, and that's when we can truly lean into faith. Seeking a higher power for strength is not just an act of vulnerability, but also of trust. It's acknowledging that we don't have to carry the weight of the world on our own. There's something incredibly freeing about surrendering to God and inviting His guidance and power into our lives. The prayer you shared is so empowering. It's a reminder that transformation is possible through faith. It invites us to not just go through life, but to rise above our challenges with divine strength. When we invite God into our lives, we open ourselves to new possibilities, healing, and peace. And I think that's exactly what makes this prayer so powerful. It's not about us trying to figure everything out on our own, but about recognizing that we have a partner in God who's always with us, ready to lift us when we fall. Would you say that this prayer speaks to a season of change or growth in your life? Or is it more about aligning your heart and mind with the strength and peace that faith offers? I think it's always powerful to connect prayers to what's going on in our own hearts. Gratitude and acknowledgement of God's power. Loving God, I come to you with an open heart, full of gratitude. You are my refuge, my fortress. You are the source of all strength. This opening speaks to the posture of the heart when approaching God, one of humility and thanksgiving. Coming to God with an open heart means you are ready to receive what He has to offer and that you acknowledge His supremacy. By calling God your refuge and fortress, you affirm His protection and the safe place He offers. It's a recognition that no matter what trials may come, God is the ultimate protector. Asking for strength and guidance. Today, I ask for your transformative strength in my life. In moments of weakness, let your power fill me. In times of uncertainty, let your wisdom guide me. This part reflects a deep awareness of your own limitations and the need for God's strength. Transformation, especially spiritual transformation, is at the core of your prayer. It acknowledges that true strength comes not from your own power, but from the power of God. The request for wisdom in times of uncertainty reflects a desire for clarity in the midst of confusion and trust in God's guidance when decisions feel overwhelming. That part of the prayer. I place my trust in you, knowing you will protect me from harm. Help me overcome every challenge and help me rise to new heights. Is such a powerful declaration of faith. It's not just asking for protection or help in the moment of need, but it's a proactive step of entrusting your whole life to God, believing that He's already at work in all areas, whether spiritual, emotional, or even material. The phrase "rise to new heights" is particularly striking because it speaks to more than just surviving life's challenges. It's about thriving through them, being shaped and refined by them, and coming out stronger, more wise and closer to God than before. This isn't just about overcoming difficulties, it's about growth through the process, a deepening of your faith, and the realization that God's plan for you is always leading you to greater things. It's also a recognition that God's protection isn't just about shielding us from harm, but also about guiding us through and around the challenges, giving us the wisdom to make choices that align with His will. When you surrender your life to Him, you allow His presence to not only protect you, but also to propel you into a future filled with purpose and promise. This reminds me of how God often uses trials to elevate us spiritually and emotionally. It's easy to think of challenges as setbacks, but they're often the very places where we experience the most transformation. As we trust God, we gain the strength to rise higher, sometimes in ways we never expected. Does this resonate with you in terms of your own journey or the challenges you faced? How do you see God guiding you toward new heights, even in the midst of difficulty? Affirmation of God's presence. Let this prayer be a reminder that I am never alone. You are my shield, my strength, my sanctuary. This closing reinforces the core truth of the prayer. You are never alone, even when circumstances seem tough. The acknowledgement of God as your shield, strength, and sanctuary is a powerful way to end the prayer, reaffirming His constant presence and protection. Yes, Philippians 4:13 is such a cornerstone verse for understanding where our true strength comes from. That line, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, is so powerful because it flips the focus from what we can do to what God can do through us. It's not about mustering up our own strength or pushing through on sheer willpower. Instead, it's about surrendering to the reality that when we lean into God's power, we have access to something far greater than what we could ever do alone. This verse really shifts the perspective. When we face challenges, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, I have to do this on my own. But Philippians 4:13 reminds us that it's not about self-reliance. It's about divine reliance. The power of Christ is what sustains us, and that gives us the confidence to face any challenge, knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. Surrender, as you mentioned, is the key here. It's allowing God's strength to flow through us, even in moments of weakness or uncertainty. It's a humble act of faith, acknowledging that while we may have limitations, God's power is limitless. And that's what makes the impossible possible. How does this verse resonate with you in your own life? Are there areas where you feel like surrendering and trusting in God's strength might be the breakthrough you need? Transformation begins in the heart. Indeed, transformation begins with the heart. The prayer shows that when we open our hearts to God and put Him first, the changes we seek in our lives come not by our effort alone, but through His work within us. It's a reminder that trust and faith are foundational in experiencing God's transformative power. If this prayer for strength has touched your heart and given you peace, please leave a comment below. Share how this prayer has impacted your life and what transformations you are hoping for in 2025. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming prayers and sermons. Your faith matters. We're all in this together, and your story can inspire others. Remember to put God first. He is the source of all strength. How did this prayer make you feel? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.